Pokemon is a franchise full of wholesome creatures. Take Beautifly, for example. It has colorful wings, its favorite food is the sweet pollen of flowers, and it stabs prey with its long, narrow mouth to drain the prey's fluids. What? Today I will be using two teams of Pokemon with the creepiest Pokedex entries. If you have an idea for a Pokemon team, be sure to comment below, and I will use it. And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Now let's get right into the battles. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. Today I will be using two teams of Pokemon with the creepiest dex entries. Happy Halloween if you're watching this on Halloween, and special thanks to Craft for this team idea. Now, one of the creepy Pokedex entries that I thought to put on this team was Phantump. Now, Phantump's shield dex entry says, with a voice like a human child, it cries out to lure adults deep into the forest, getting them lost among the trees. That's like a creepy one, right? Like just hearing like a child's voice in like a forest kind of environment. Like that's weird. So I have two interesting battles with this team, and I hope you enjoy them. Now, this was a lead Trick Room Phantom. This first team is a Trick Room team, so that Phantom had like Trick Room. It had Wood Hammer, so I could take itself out because I had Focus Sash on that as the item. So into Araquanid. Now this is a heinous Pokemon. This is a Choice Band Araquanid with Terra Water Liquidation. And Araquanid has some crazy dex entry. So its Violet dex entry says, it launches sticky water bubbles. Foes who lose consciousness while trapped inside these bubbles will get torn apart by Araquanid's gnashing jaws. Jeez Louise. And there's like other dex entries where it says like, it has a smaller Pokemon will drown inside of its bubbles and everything. This is just a heinous Pokemon overall, jeez. So, I'm gonna swap into my Dusknoir. Obviously, I can't really do much to Sinistcha Shot, especially if it's like, Strength Sap or something, but it goes for Trick Room of its own. I'm like, no, I need to reset the Trick Room now, because I'm running Trick Room on this Dusknoir as well. Now, Dusknoir also has obviously every Pokemon on the team has a creepy dex entry, but Dusknoir's is pretty, interestingly worded. So this is its shield dex entry, where it says, with the mouth on its belly, Dusknoir swallows its target whole. The soul is the only thing eaten. Dusknoir disgorges the body before departing. So it will literally like eat your entire body and everything, and then just spill out like the rest of your body and just only eat your soul. This thing is crazy. So into my Sliggoo. This is an offensive Sliggoo, which works well under Trick Room, but I really couldn't do much to this Incineroar, especially since the annoying Aurora Veil was set up. Now, Sliggoo also has a really weird dex entry. This is its Sun dex entry, where it says, it has trouble drawing a line between friend and food. It will calmly try to melt and eat those it gets along with. Like, it's the word calmly for me that's like getting to me. So I'm gonna swap out there, and unfortunately the incoming Earthworm is gonna go for Shed Tail. I was like, well, I want to bring in my Hypno, because if they do pass a substitute, I do have a Nasty Plot Psychic Noise set on this. Now Hypno, obviously this Pokemon has like no reputation whatsoever. Like its entire reputation was ruined by the one dex entry it has in Fire Red, where it's like, it carries a pendulum-like device. There once was an incident in which it took away a child it hypnotized. That one dex entry ruined this Pokemon's entire reputation. So, unfortunately, the Gyarados coming in has Crunch. I was like, dang, I really wasn't expecting that, because, like, I would have been able to live a waterfall, and I had my Citrus Berry, and I was hoping that I could be able to live the next hit and get off a Nasty Plot, set up the Trick Room, and then hit this thing behind the substitute with Psychic Noise. But unfortunately, my Hypno is going to get taken out there by the Crunch, so I was like, well, shoot, there goes one of my Trick Room setters. It was an offensive Hypno with, like, Nasty Plot and Psychic Noise. Now, this is another Trick Room setter on my team. I had 3 of them. And this Dusknoir was a Cobra Berry set. Now, this is a special attacking Dusknoir. It has Trick Room, it has Shadow Ball, it has Ice Beam and Focus Blast, and I have Terra Fighting on this. Now, I was thinking, well, I need to take out this Gyarados' substitute, obviously, so I'm running max special attack on this, so hopefully a Shadow Ball will be enough to take out the Gyarados' substitute, which it does, but unfortunately, the next Crunch, especially since they got a Moxie boost, is going to be enough to take out my Dusknoir. So, it cost me like 2 Pokemon to get rid of this Pokemon, and both of my Pokemon were like Trick Room setters. So, it was like, it was really, really rough. I was really behind at this point. So, I thought, okay, well, I should be able to Revenge KO this with my Sliggoo. This is a fully special attacking offensive Sliggoo, and I took it out with the Thunderbolt. So I was like, okay, that's a great KO. In comes the Tyranitar. Now, this Sliggoo was pretty invaluable to me because it was a really good answer to the Finish Shot in the back because I'm running Sap Sipper as my ability on this. So I thought I really needed that for the Finish Shot. So I'm gonna bring an Araquanid hard into this Tyranitar. I'm Terra Water, so I'm not gonna be weak to any of the rock moves this thing throws at me at the very least. So they're gonna opt to swap out their Tyranitar and they're gonna go into Sinistcha. Now, unfortunately, the Trick Room is gonna end this turn, but I am gonna get off a very powerful Terra Water Liquidation with Choice Band. It just hits so hard. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to get a KO, and like I said, the Trick Room is gonna run out. So I thought, well, I could easily bring in my I could easily bring in the Sliggoo, anticipating them to want to like go for the strength stat because I do not want this thing recovering up to full, and they're gonna go for Matcha Gotcha. So I was like, okay, well, so far they revealed Trick Room and Matcha Gotcha. So I'm not sure if this is like an offensive Sinistcha shot or if it's like running like more defensive with like strength sap. So they're gonna bring in the Incineroar again. Now I thought here, well, I do have Ice Beam on this, but I'm just gonna go for the Draco Meteor. I'm just gonna drop a Draco and do as much damage as I can to this, and it does a good amount of damage. Fortunately, it doesn't have a Citrus Berry either, so I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm gonna get outsped by this, but it depends on what this Incineroar has for me, and I don't want to lose this Sliggoo either, so I'm gonna swap out into my Gliscor. Now, this Gliscor is a really interesting set. Obviously, it doesn't have the Toxic Orb, so I'm just gonna say that, so I'm not gonna say what its set is yet, but I will read its Dex entry, because this one's crazy. So this is from Legends Arceus, where it says, it glides soundlessly on pitch black wings and sinks sharp fangs into the throat of its prey. It takes on a look of satisfaction once it has entirely drained its prey of blood. This is like, Gliscor has to be like the top 10 most evil Pokemon in this game. Like, it already has like Toxic Heal, and you're telling me that it will suck its prey's blood and then like look happy doing it? What is wrong with this thing? So I'm gonna bring in my Araquanid here. They're gonna end up passing the Shed Tail onto an Incineroar, which is going to drop my attack. Now, I saw what they were doing. I was thinking, okay, well, they are more than likely gonna like Intimidate Shuffle. So they're gonna keep like dropping my attack and like going for Parting Shot with the Incineroar. And then I imagine that after this turn, they're gonna want to sacrifice their Earthworm. And so after this like whole intimidating stick, I'm gonna be like -3 attack, and maybe they're gonna set up with their Tyranitar in the back. So I'm just gonna go for the Terra Water Liquidation, and I'm gonna be able to take out the Earthworm. So that's nice. So I was like, okay, well, they're gonna bring in the Incineroar again, but I'm still doing like really massive damage with like Water Bubble is such a great ability because it like doubles the attack, like the base power of like water moves, and so the Tyranitar is gonna come in. So I was like, okay, well, this is gonna get a Dragon Dance. I don't know if it's gonna take it out, but I am Terra Water with Liquidation, so I'm gonna be hitting like a truck. I also have like Rest and Sleep Talk on this. It only has like 3 moves on this set, so I unfortunately just I come so close to taking out this Tyranitar, but I just missed the KO because of all the attack drops. Now fortunately, the Tyranitar is not weakness policy. Otherwise, I would have had to deal with like a +3 in attack Tyranitar, and they're gonna opt to Terrasilize their Tyranitar. So I was like, okay, well, they're going full endgame with this thing. There's probably not a chance that I'm gonna live whatever this Tyranitar throws at me because I am running max health, but it's a Terra Rock Stone Edge from a Tyranitar, and it has a +1 in attack. And yeah, there's no chance that I live this. So this Tyranitar is like prepped to sweep me in this endgame, right? Because it has a speed boost. It should be able to outspeed every single Pokemon on my team, barring Stone Edge hitting all the time. So I'm gonna go into my Gliscor here. Now this is a Choice Scarf Gliscor. It's Choice Scarf. This is great. I was able to outspeed the +1 Tyranitar and take it out with the knockoff. Wow, I always wanted to use Gliscor, but not like as a Toxic Heal, like protect, like stalling set. So I wanted to use like a more speedy one with Choice Scarf, which is like a completely unexpected item to run on this because 99.999% of Gliscor run like the Toxic Orb for its ability. So I thought I'd run an unsuspecting set on that. So it ended up coming in super clutch for me because I was able to revenge KO the Tyranitar. Now, I thought that, you know, I brung in my Sliggoo here versus the last Finish Shot on their team, and they had Scald. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they don't have Strength Stab after all. I don't know if this run... I don't know if this Pokemon is running like Shadow Ball, but it clearly like doesn't have it because otherwise they would have went for it that turn. So I'm gonna take it out with the Ice Beam, and that's gonna be the end of the first game. So really nice stuff from all the Pokemon on this team. Now it's this next team. Now this next team has some really creepy dex entries, probably even more creepy than the first. So to my lead Glalie. This is an Assault Vest Glalie. Now, Glalie's dex entry is kind of in line with like Gliscor. This is its Sapphire dex entry where it says Glalie has the ability to freely control ice. For example, it can instantly freeze its foe solid after immobilizing its foe in ice. This Pokemon enjoys eating it in leisurely fashion. What is up with these Pokemon? Like enjoying like eating things like in such a sinister way. This is joining Gliscor in the eating Pokemon club, I guess. So I'm gonna take this Glamora out with the Earthquake. I wanted to get a Trailblaze up first because I kind of figured that this Glamora might be Focus Sash like a lot of other Glamora are. So I'm gonna take some poison damage because they poisoned me, and they're gonna go into their Koraidon this turn. So I was like, okay, well, at the very least, I also denied hazards, but the Toxic Spikes do go up. I have 2 poison types on this team, so I'm gonna go for the Ice Fang because Glalie dex entry talks about it eating frozen Pokemon and everything, so I thought Ice Fang was a pretty good fit on this set. So into Drifloon. Now, this Drifloon also has a like obviously Drifloon is known for like stealing like children, but I wanted to go with its Moon dex entry where it says for some reason its body bursts, its soul spills out with a screaming sound. I don't know why that creeps me out. I hate screamers. I hate jump scares, so that one just creeped me out personally. Just the fact that if you pop it, it just like screams. I hate it. So luckily, the Koraidon Scale Shot only hits twice, and I'm able to get off a Tailwind. So I was like, wow, that was super lucky because now I can Revenge KO this with my Gengar. This is a Choice Scarf Gengar, so I'm going to be able to outspeed, even though the Koraidon is at +3 speed, with the Tailwind and the Choice Scarf, I'm going to be able to go and eliminate that with Dazzling Gleam, so that was nice. Now, I'll talk about this Gengar's Dex entry in a little bit, because I really don't want to stay in versus this Fluttermane. So, into Cacturne. Now, this one is like super creepy. So, Cacturne's dex entry from Sapphire states that if a traveler is going through a desert in the thick of night, Cacturne will follow in a ragtag group. The Pokemon are biding their time, waiting for the traveler to tire and become incapable of moving. That is just like the fear of like being stalked and being followed is just so like it gives me the heebie-jeebies. So I'm gonna Terrasilize now. This is an offensive Cacturne. I nicknamed it Don't Sleep, obviously because of its dex entry, but also just because it's an underrated Pokemon and you shouldn't sleep on it. So I have Terra Fairy Terra Blast. This is an all-out offensive Cacturne with like Swords Dance, and I thought that they would like go for a Dragon move on this, but I just get cooked by that Flamethrower, unfortunately. So yeah, that's gonna take out my Cacturne. I wanted to be cheeky, and it didn't end up working out for me. So I'm gonna swap into my Gengar here now. Gengar's has probably the most infamous dex entry in this video. Obviously, it's Sun dex entry, where it's like, should you feel yourself attacked by a sudden chill, it is evidence of an approaching Gengar. There is no escaping it. Give up. Okay, thanks, Pokedex. I guess if the dex itself is saying like, hey, you're not gonna stand a chance versus this thing, fine, whatever. Like, what the heck? What kind of dex entry even is that? Also, shout out to its Ultra Moon dex entry where it says even your home isn't safe. Like, oh my gosh. So I'm gonna outspeed and take out the Meowscarada. I wasn't sure if they were trying to bait the Sucker Punch, but I almost swapped that turn, anticipating them to want to Sucker Punch me. So thankfully, I was able to take out the Meowscarada. Now, here comes the Dragonite. Now, they're going to go for the Scale Shot and take out my Gengar. Now, I didn't know if this meant that they weren't running, like, Extreme Speed or not. They could just be running, like, Scale Shot Dragon Dance. But I thought this turn, well, I do have my Zoroark, which I forgot to disguise, and I should be able to live a Terra Normal E-Speed. Now, Zoroark's dex entry is just weird. It's from S.H.I.E.L.D., and it says, seeking to ease the burden of solitude, lonely trainers tell Zoroark to show illusions to them. What do you mean by that? Like, what? Like, that's just so weird. Like, imagine, like, someone's girlfriend breaks up with them, and then they tell Zoroark to, like, become their girlfriend. I don't even know what that could possibly, like, entail, but that's just creepy for a different reason. So, I do get off a Life Orb Dark Pulse that turn, and I'm gonna bring in my Victory Bell. This is a physically defensive Victory Bell. Look at this. It has Stockpile and Swallow, which is perfect for its dex entry, which is its yellow dex entry, which says, it lures prey with the sweet aroma of honey. Swallowed whole, the prey is melted in a day, bones and all. that just speaks for itself. I think that's a perfect way to end off this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if there's any other Pokemon with creepy dex entries that I forgot to include in this video. By the way, physically defensive victory bell. My name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all next time.